Hey guys, it's Marshall from Going Gear, and today we're going to take a look at a couple of new lights from Olight, the i3 and the i2. You're going to notice that these are going to look really similar to the ITP lights that have been really popular for us, the A3 and the A2, and that's because Olight and ITP are the same company. And Olight's actually doing away with ITP, so it's being absorbed into Olight, so you're going to start seeing some of their more popular models being absorbed into the Olight line. So I've got a couple of them here, i2, i3. There's also the i1 and the i6, but those are a little bit different lights, so we're going to do separate reviews for them. I went ahead and cut open the packaging on these so you guys didn't have to suffer through me maiming myself while opening up some clamshells. You've got the operator's manual in there. You can see that it comes with a battery, which is pretty cool, something Olight started doing with their lights. And then you have a hex key down there. That is to remove the pocket clip, and then some spare O-rings. Put those back in there, and then you get the same thing with the i2. So you get the battery, you get the light, you get the manual, you get the O-rings, you get the hex key. Alright, set the packaging to the side, show you the lights in a little bit better detail. What they did is they listened to a lot of the complaints that people had about the A3 and the A2. Not necessarily complaints, I guess, because they were both super popular lights, more of just feedback. So one thing that they did is they got rid of the nub. Let me zoom in a little bit better so you can see these. They got rid of the nub that you had on the end of the ITP A3 and replaced it with a flat tail cap, so it can actually tail stand now. So the key ring is integrated a little bit differently than it was on this one, and you don't have the chain anymore, you don't have the alligator clip. Instead you have really sturdy attached pocket clip, so it's attached with those little screws right there. You got those two little ones, and that's what that Allen wrench is for, is if you ever want to remove that, instead of the one that just popped off on the A2 and the A3. There's the XBG LED down in there, same thing that you get on the A2. You can see the size difference between the two, and then compared to the A3, you can see the i3 and A3 really similar lights. But they did make some nice improvements. So let's go ahead and stick some batteries in these. Show you the interface. Go ahead and open up the i2, put in a AA battery, and then open up the i3, put in a AAA battery. Make sure it goes in the right way. Alright, the interface on these guys is pretty much the same that you saw with ITP. Tighten the head and you get your low output. Loosen and tighten, it goes into the next mode, which is medium. One more time and it goes into high. And then you keep on doing that and it'll cycle through those three different outputs. Same interface that you have on the i2. So low, medium, and high. And then just keep on cycling between and it'll switch between those three. Right, so people are going to ask, or have been asking, about the differences between the two. The biggest difference that you're going to see is going to be in the battery life, just because a AA has more capacity than a AAA. That's going to be one of the biggest differences. About the same output. On the i2 you get 75 lumens, on the i3 you get 70 lumens. So not a huge difference between those two. A big difference that you are going to see in addition to the battery life is going to be the throw. Just because there's such a small reflector on the i3, you're not going to get a ton of throw, although it does really well for a light that its size. You are going to get a little bit better throw out of the i2 just because it has the same LED but a little bit larger reflector. So those are the two lights. We'll go ahead and take these outside, and we'll take the A3 outside as well, just so you can see how those compare. And let's go ahead and go do that now. Okay, we're outside with the ITP and the Olights, and we've got the big 40 mag light that I always use to compare it to. So let's go ahead and give that mag light a shot first. See how it does. There's a little bush, 15 feet. Tree out there at 100 feet. We'll zoom in on that just so you can see. Lights up the tree okay, not a lot around it. Let's try out that ITP, since it is been our best selling light for a long time. There it is on low, medium, we'll bump it up to high. You can see, I mean, it's a pretty tiny light, but it actually gets out to 100 feet pretty darn well. And you're going to see pretty much the same performance with the i3. So let's try that one. And here's the i3. There's low, medium, then on high you can see still gets out to 100 feet. And of course 15 feet is no problem for it. And even on low, people always wonder if 2 lumens or even less than a lumen is enough. And yes, it definitely is. It's enough to light up the ground right in front of you, even at a decent distance. If you're up to 2 lumens, it does pretty well. So here is the I2. We'll try that one. There's low, and again, it'll light up the ground in front of you just fine. Up close in the tent kind of stuff. There's medium, and then there's your high. So you can see a little bit better throw on this one, slightly better, just because it has that larger reflector. So you are going to be able to get a little bit better distance out of the I2 than you will the I3. We'll do them side by side on high real quick. Alright, there is the I2 on the right, I3 on the left. You can see that I2 is just slightly more concentrated than the I3, so you get a little bit better distance. So there you go. That's the new ITP I2 and I3. If you like them, you can get them from us at goinggear.com. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe. We put out a lot of videos, and if you have any questions or comments, you can reach us in the comments or at goinggear.com.